What was the question again?
How many?
I have order in the court, or I will have you removed. Understood?
Brace yourself, because Johnny Depp just rewrote the rules of fame. When he spoke in 2023, he crushed every wild rumor and admitted that his ride from pirate royalty to headline scandal was rougher than anyone guessed. But the shock grew louder. Depp announced that Hollywood had become a nightmare and walked away without a backward look. No tearful press tour. No farewell special. One day the brightest star vanished into thin air. By spring 2023, he left Los Angeles for Somerset in the quiet English countryside. Imagine swapping flashing cameras for rolling green hills. He now owns an estate bigger than a small town, more than 800,000 square meters of calm. Reporters chased him for months, yet found no new photos. At last, a local paper spoke to him, and his words cut deeper than any movie line. He said, "I do not live to be noticed anymore. I live to be at peace." The quote exploded online because it proved he chose silence over spectacle. Still, Depp never planned to fade away. He built a new stage with brushes and guitars. His dreamlike portraits landed in elite galleries and earned more than $5 million in weeks. Prints priced near $50,000 sold out before the doors even opened. Fans camped overnight and cheered like they were front row at a rock show. During New York's 2024 A Bunch of Stuff exhibit crowds packed in just to see his work. Depp beamed and said, "Painting lets me share feelings that words hide." In that moment, the one-time box office king became an art sensation. Music roared back too. With Alice Cooper and Joe Perry and Hollywood Vampires, he toured across Europe shredding solos that rattled stadiums. At Germany's Wacken Open Air Festival, thousands screamed as he covered David Bowie's Heroes, giving the anthem a haunted edge only he can summon. Every show crushed doubts. One critic gasped Johnny plays like the world is on fire, and his guitar's the hose. Meanwhile, Dior proved he was still a marketing powerhouse. Using only archive footage, the brand relaunched Savage, and sales rocketed past all records in 2024. Depp never filmed a fresh ad, yet his name kept registers ringing. Paris fashion houses rolled out red carpets when he arrived as Dior's guest. Cameras flashed, but this time he stood not as a movie character, but as an icon who bent an entire industry to his will. Studio bosses tried to lure him back, but every call met a polite no thanks. Marvel, Warner Brothers, and Netflix were left scrambling while friends Tim Burton and Terry Gilliam waited by silent phones. An insider whispered he refuses to be boxed into any role ever again. Each month brings new offers and festival invites, yet Depp rarely answers. He skipped Venice, Cannes, and Berlin in 2024, and still Variety named him one of the most powerful names in show business. The message is clear. He does not need Hollywood. Hollywood needs him. Art Insiders compares gallery rise to Basquiat mania. Bidders battle for each canvas, believing they are taking home part of his soul. In Somerset, locals spot him on muddy lanes with a rescue dog at his heel. They say he slips into pubs, tips musicians who strum old blues tunes, and then vanishes behind stone walls. To them, he is the quiet neighbor who loves sunset skies and fresh apple cider. Every move feels deliberate. Music and art speak when he chooses silence. Paparazzi capture only hedges. Yet the mystery keeps growing, because secrecy always fuels imagination. But hold on. The next half dives into court battles and the explosive trial that shook the world. The calm of Somerset could not erase the storms chasing Johnny Depp. In May 2016, Amber Heard filed for divorce after 15 months and released a bruised-face photo that set the globe on fire. Headlines shouted abuser before Depp even spoke. Within 3 weeks, Disney dropped him from Pirates of the Caribbean. Warner Brothers forced him out of Fantastic Beasts, and advertisers fled overnight. The fall felt brutal and absolute. Tabloids feasted on rumors, calling him a washed-up drunk. In 2018, The Sun labeled him wife-beater. He sued but lost in 2020, and many declared his career dead. Depp withdrew, granting no long interviews and skipping premieres. Friends said he felt betrayed because studios cut ties without checking facts. Then a leaked audio tape in early 2020 flipped the script. Heard admitted, "I slapped you, so what, you are not a baby." Millions heard the clip, and hashtags crying justice for Johnny Depp flooded social feeds. That uproar set the stage for a Virginia courtroom in 2022. Depp sued Heard for defamation, claiming her Washington Post opinion piece ruined his life. He insisted he never hit her and was the real victim of emotional abuse. The 6-week trial streamed live like a blockbuster saga. Lawyers unveiled raw photos, private texts, and shocking recordings. Witnesses said Heard could be controlling and aggressive. One guard recalled Depp bleeding after a fight. Another staffer said he found human waste on the bed, and Heard blamed the dog. Each day brought a fresh bombshell. Depp described a night when a vodka bottle shattered and sliced the tip of his finger, leaving bone exposed. Photos of the bloody hand flashed across screens, and the jury looked stunned. On June 1st, 2022, the jury ruled for Depp and ordered Heard to pay millions. Social media erupted as if a championship had been won. Heard relocated to Spain, fleeing the spotlight. Depp received a tide of support, yet victory did not ease his pain. Friends revealed he spoke to almost no one for 2 months, nursing deep scars that no verdict could heal. Journalists dissected the decision hour by hour, while die-hard fans crowded courthouse steps chanting his name. Commentators admitted they had rushed to judgment, and late-night hosts changed their jokes. Even Disney investors asked if Jack Sparrow could sail again, proof that public feeling had swung like a pendulum. Today, Depp paints through the night, records blues riffs at dawn, and walks hidden orchard paths. Studios still call, yet he rarely answers. The mystery lives on and the legend keeps growing. Will he ever return to the big screen? The question hangs like smoke. If he does, the comeback will hit with cannon fire force, because Johnny Depp now writes his own ending, and the world is ready for the blast. Imagine opening a secret letter and feeling your heart pound because the writer declares, "I didn't do this for revenge. I did it to survive." Johnny Depp wrote that line, and with it, he turned from a fallen idol into a living badge of resilience. The man who got knocked down yet rose even when no one else stood beside him. Yet behind his quiet smile sits a wound that will never heal, because his trust in the system is gone forever. The courtroom did not free him. It stamped a scar that follows him each day. A veteran French director who visited Depp after the verdict remembered polite words, yet saw empty eyes, as if part of the man was still trapped in that witness box. Inside his stone house in Somerset, a single locked room guards mountains of evidence from the trial. Audio clips, letters, texts, medical charts. Every scrap is filed and numbered. Depp keeps them not to reopen the fight, but to make sure the pain is never erased. From that guarded space, a new path is rising, one without revenge, but also without comfort. It began in hushed tones and then exploded when he walked the red carpet at the 2023 Cannes Film Festival as King Louis XV in the French drama Jean du Barry. The screening ended with 7 thunderous minutes of applause that rolled across the theater like a wave. Reporters timed the ovation, writing that 7 minutes felt like 7 years of bottled hope bursting out at once. One critic wiped away tears and whispered that she had just watched history being rewritten on the spot. Outside, crowds push against velvet ropes, and for the first time in years, Depp smiled under camera lights without flinching. European press wrote that Hollywood may have shut its doors, yet Europe still carried him on its shoulders. Reviews of the movie were mixed. Some loved it, others found uneven, but every writer agreed on one point. Depp's stare still grabs the screen with magnetic force. Director May Wen said during a press chat, "I chose Johnny not for headlines. I chose him because no one else can breathe life into Louis like he can." Then came 2025 and Day Drinker, a murky drama pairing Depp with Penelope Cruz under director Mark Webb. His role, shaped as a drifter lost inside his own memories, marked Depp's first mainstream project in years. Webb told reporters, "I needed a wound that could speak. Johnny is the only one real enough." Production insiders say he arrived early, guitar in hand, greeting crew with gentle nods and sinking into character with eerie focus. Terry Gilliam, famous for bending reality, soon asked Depp to play Satan in Carnival at the end of days. Gilliam explained that Depp understands pure darkness, yet carries a strange calm, so no one else would work. The project is still brewing. Depp is not signed, yet the announcement alone jolted the European art scene. Agents whisper that celebrated directors are drafting parts with his name already inked in, betting the world is hungry for his evolution. Depp, however, remains silent, weighing each script against the hard lessons etched into that Somerset archive. What new trials wait for him next will shock everyone because the story is far from over, and the calm before the storm is starting to shake. Think the tale ended on applause and new scripts? Think again, because behind the tall hedges of his Somerset estate, Johnny Depp was quietly rebuilding every corner of his life, while the world argued about his future. He chose secrecy over spectacle, trading roaring crowds for chirping birds. Yet every small step hinted at a much bigger resurrection. Since late 2022, he has been completely sober, dropped nearly 20 kilograms, and swapped late-night drinks for mint tea and mineral water. Doctors report his blood pressure is finally stable, his skin clearer, and his eyes brighter than they've been in a decade. Locals see him at dawn trudging muddy country lanes with his adopted dog Barnaby, pausing to watch mist lift off the fields like curtains in an empty theater. One farmer said Depp once helped push a stuck tractor, then refused any reward except a quiet handshake. A volunteer at the village library revealed that Depp replaced a worn children's section with brand new books, paying in cash and asking staff to keep the gift quiet. These gentle gestures paint a portrait far different from the wild image tabloids loved. When a French reporter tried to ignite anger by naming Amber Heard, Depp simply smiled and answered, "That chapter has ended. Let us move forward." The clip went viral because it showed unshakable calm where fury once lived. Skeptics insist the calm is another performance, yet director Mark Webb laughs at that claim. Webb says Johnny does not have enough spare energy to fake anything away from the set. Crew members agree, noting that during breaks Depp sits with headphones, sketching crow silhouettes rather than scrolling headlines. The strongest proof lives in his painting. During sleepless winter nights, he filled 12 towering canvases with silent corridors and hollow-eyed figures. A Berlin gallery bought the entire series, and Depp skipped the opening, sending only a note that red paintings say what I cannot. Music has shifted too. A leaked rehearsal tape showed Depp alone on stage strumming an unplugged guitar, his voice a cracked whisper. Instead of crowd-pleasing anthems, he mumbled half-forgotten blues lines, letting pauses hang like unanswered questions. Fans who streamed the file said the silence between chords felt louder than any amplifier. Publishers wave huge contract for a memoir, but Depp ignores every email. He has passed on talk show invites and glossy magazine spreads. In a letter to Terry Gilliam, he confessed, "I lost every label and started again with the smallest thing, my own self." That sentence now sits taped above his desk like a private oath. European journalists call him the wanderer, a traveler between two realities. One is Hollywood, the glittering machine that crowned and discarded him. The other is a quiet creative world he shapes by hand, where paint dries slowly and guitars rest on velvet chairs. Audiences who once cheered sword fights now witness softer performances packed with unspoken hurt. On stage with Hollywood vampires, he trades flashy riffs for slow-burn melodies that make stadiums fall silent. Every new project carries the stamp of a freer Johnny, unchained from studio demands. From the thunderous ovation in 2023 to hush-filled studio sessions in 2025, Depp did not just survive, he evolved. He walks the same earth, but wears new skin lighter, scarred, and utterly real. No one can predict how long this winding path will run, yet one fact shines. It will never loop back to the restless pirate who once ruled summer box offices. Depp now wanders forward, guided by silence, art, and the steady rhythm of his own healed heartbeat. If this saga stirs your spirit, then pass it on so its quiet power can echo far beyond Somerset lanes.